The story begins with Nezha and Ao Bing being struck down by a divine lightning bolt from the Celestial Lord. Fortunately for them, a heavenly disciple named Tai preserves their bodies using a sacred lotus flower, intending to eventually restore them to life. The villagers of Chentang Pass are grateful for the pair's heroism, as they join forces to bring Nezha and Ao Bing back. They gather all the lotus roots they can find and begin grinding them into powder. However, Nezha becomes annoyed after noticing some people handling the lotus roots with the same unwashed hands they'd use to scratch their feet or blow their noses. Once the lotus powder is ready, it's separated into two sections, one for each hero. Master Tai pushes Nezha and Ao Bing into their respective powdered lotuses, beginning the regeneration of their bodies. He summons his mystical pig companion to help shape their physical forms, and the pig crafts their bodies skillfully. Nezha's parents, General Li Jing and Lady Yin, arrive and inform Tai that the military is guarding the village in anticipation of an attack by Shen Gongbao. But Tai reassures them Shen Gongbao's main allies, the Dragon Clan, remain imprisoned in the underworld, and alone he poses little threat. Tai then shows them Nezha, whose body is nearly reformed. To complete the restoration, Ao Bing is surrounded with water and Nezha with fire, elements from which they were originally born. As this refinement proceeds, the guard rushes in to tell General Li Jing that Shen Gongbao has been seen within the village. Immediately, Li Jing stations his army at the borders, ready for possible invasion. When confronting Shen Gongbao, Li Jing insists that he stands no chance, not against the soldiers and especially not with Tai present. But Shen Gongbao reveals he's not alone. Earlier, Ao Bing's father, Dragon King Ao Guang, was seen in the underworld discussing revenge with fellow dragons. He blames Chentang Pass for his son's death. But being imprisoned, they can't exact revenge themselves. One dragon, Ao Run, proposes a plan: summon monsters from the abyss to launch an attack. She gives Shen Gongbao a sky-splitting claw, a weapon powerful enough to rip open a gateway for these abyssal creatures to escape into the world. Back in the present, Shen Gongbao uses the claw, opening a rift through which hordes of abyss monsters spill out and assault Chentang Pass. Though outmatched in strength and numbers, Lady Yin and General Li Jing hold the line with incredible valor. Confused by the assault, as Ao Bing is still alive, they speculate about the Dragon King's motives. Meanwhile, Shen Gongbao turns his attention to Tai, trying to break through his protective shield. Unable to do so himself, he uses the claw to summon dragons from the underworld who unleash fire to shatter the barrier. Ao Bing halts his own regeneration to save Tai with his ice powers. Sensing his son's presence, Ao Guang descends to earth, shocked to find Ao Bing alive. Nezha's body completes its restoration, but Ao Bing, having overexerted himself in his weakened state, begins to fade away. In a tearful reunion, Ao Bing pleads with his father to spare the village before turning into stone. Shen Gongbao asks Tai to form a new body for Ao Bing, but the seven-colored lotus has already withered, drained from restoring both warriors. Tai proposes a temporary solution. Nezha and Ao Bing can share one body for 7 days, since their essence, one born of the Spirit Pearl and the other of the Demon Pearl, stems from the same origin. Ao Guang refuses to accept this and demands a permanent fix. Tai says he'll ascend to the heavens to beg the Supreme Lord for a mystical potion called Elixir Reparo, which can rejuvenate the sacred lotus and regenerate Ao Bing's form. Shen Gongbao interrupts, suggesting instead that Nezha join a sacred training program. Those who pass the program qualify for the Ascension Trial in heaven. Success grants immortality and a reward, the Elixir Reparo. If Nezha triumphs, he could use the elixir to restore Ao Bing. The Dragon King delivers an ultimatum to Li Jing and Lady Yin. They have 7 days to save his son or face the destruction of their village. He forbids anyone from leaving, except for Nezha and Tai. Shen Gongbao is appointed to ensure no one escapes, as Ao Guang refuses to trust the other dragons with his son's safety. Before departing, the villagers gather to bid Nezha farewell, thanking him for his sacrifice. His mother asks for a hug, but he refuses with embarrassment, noticing everyone watching. She still packs him snacks for the journey. Tai and Nezha set off on the flying pig, though Tai quickly eats most of the food. He teases Nezha for turning down a hug from his mother. On the way, Tai explains the trial process. Nezha must demonstrate his spiritual cultivation by defeating 3 Earth-level demon kings. However, Tai warns him not to use his own demonic powers, as it may expose his identity. He should allow Ao Bing, who is of the Spirit Pearl, to take control during battles. Tai brings him to a mountain for training, where Nezha struggles to hand over control. To help, Tai gives him a slumber pill. One pill will make him sleep instantly, letting Ao Bing take over. Nezha swallows all the pills before Tai can explain one is enough. Nezha falls unconscious, and Ao Bing immediately takes control. Tai begins training Ao Bing, now in Nezha's body, but is quickly outmatched and humiliated. He takes Ao Bing to the heavenly Yushu palace, where elite demon hunters reside, warriors who track and eliminate dangerous demons. The palace leader, Immortal Wuyong, is a renowned disciple. Tai introduces Ao Bing in Nezha's body as the reincarnated Spirit Pearl who wants to join the Ascension Trial. Just then, Nezha regains consciousness and takes back control. His first act? Peeing into the sacred, heavenly pool. Tai hurries to stop him and blames the mishap on overtraining. Wuyong's disciple Krana is ordered to escort Nezha to the restroom. Along the way, Nezha steps on her robe, and she leaves him to find his way alone. Nezha wanders into a chamber full of jade vessels, mistakes one for a toilet, and relieves himself. Later, Tai discusses Nezha's trial participation with Wuyang, unaware of Nezha's misdeed. When Nezha casually reveals he peed in the Kunlun Dew, a prized liquid of the Chan sect, Tai also spits out the drink he had unknowingly sipped. Deciding there's no more time to waste, Tai insists Nezha begin the trials immediately. Wuyang assigns Diro, another disciple, to judge the trial. The first challenge involved defeating a village of marmot demons. Without being briefly in control, Nezha manages to complete the mission even though the effects of the slumber pills wear off early. The demon hunters capture the marmots and prepare to transport them back to Yushu Palace. Meanwhile, back in Chintang Pass, General Li Jing approaches Shin Gongbao with a request. The prior day's battle left many wounded, and their medical supplies have run dry. He begs for permission to let a few doctors leave the village to gather supplies. Shin Gongbao coldly refuses, reminding him of Ao Guang's strict orders. No one is allowed to leave the village under any circumstance. A captured spy is unexpectedly brought before Shin Gongbao, who is astonished to recognize him as his younger brother Xiaobao. Now capable of transforming into a human just like Gongbao, Xiaobao reminds him of the vow he once made to bring him to Yushu Palace to take the Chan sect trials and achieve immortality. Unwilling to confront the full truth, Gongbao tells Xiaobao to remain patient. He hands him a batch of immortality pills, crafted by the Chan sect using the Tianyuan cauldron, which granted decades worth of cultivation, and instructs him to return to their village and share them with the family. When Xiaobao questions the presence of Gongbao and the sea demons at Chintang Pass, Li Jing deceives him by saying they're there to protect the town from evil forces. Gongbao, appreciative that his younger brother remains unaware of the real situation, arranges for medicine to be sent for his soldiers and people. The scene then transitions to Nezha and Tai arriving at Yushu Palace, where the alignment of 6 stars enables the 12 golden immortals of the Chan sect to communicate via astral projection at the Jade Podium. As Tai is about to be promoted into the 12, both he and Nezha are invited to join the meeting. There, it's revealed that preparations are underway for the deification war between the Chan sect and the ZHA sect to determine dominion over the heavens. During the discussion, Diro, disciple of Master Wuyang, voices concern about the East Sea Dragons, led by Ao Guang. He suspects their supposed surrender is a ruse and sees their strength as a looming danger. He proposes a preemptive strike, but the other immortals reject the idea. Nezha's second trial is then assigned. He must defeat Shin Zhengdao, father of Shin Gongbao, who trains demons in moral virtue with the aim of turning them into immortals. The confrontation is fierce, and Zhengdao showcases lightning powers similar to Gongbao's. Eventually, Nezha, with Ao Bing's spirit still inhabiting his body, overpowers Zhengdao, severing one of his arms. Once Zhengdao realizes his opponent is a disciple of the Chan sect, whom he respects, he willingly surrenders himself and his disciples to the demon hunters for escort to Yushu Palace. At that moment, Xiaobao returns from meeting Gongbao, only to see Ao Bing holding Zhengdao's severed arm. Mistaking the scene, he attacks the demon hunters in fury, unaware that his father had already given himself up. Diro fires an arrow at Xiaobao, but Zhengdao sacrifices himself by taking the hit, then uses his lightning to teleport Xiaobao downriver. Zhengdao collapses unconscious on the riverbank, and Xiaobao nearly dies too, until Nezha, still possessed by Ao Bing, steps in and scolds Diro, sparing the boy. Back at Chintang village, Li Jing hosts a banquet in Gongbao's honor for delivering food and medicine. Amid a heavy conversation on cultivation and righteousness, Gongbao drinks heavily. Suddenly, a wounded Xiaobao stumbles in, revealing that their father and his disciples were ambushed and taken by Nezha and the demon hunters. He dies shortly after, leaving Gongbao heartbroken and seething. Before Nezha can proceed to his final trial, facing the demon queen of Skull Mountain, Diro suggests he rest for 2 days, but Nezha refuses, eager to finish everything. A disciple rushes in, reporting that urgent news has come for Tai and Nezha. They're informed of a catastrophe at Chintang Pass. Nezha races there, only to find the village destroyed. In panic, he searches for his parents, but only finds charred skeletons. Discovering his mother's helmet in the wreckage, he assumes the dragons are responsible for the massacre. Outraged, Master Wuyang swears vengeance and gathers the demon hunters to strike the East Sea Dragons. Meanwhile, Nezha takes the wind fire wheels and speeds towards Skull Mountain for his third trial, ignoring pleas from Tai and Ao Bing to wait. There, he subdues Lady Shurji, a powerful mountain demon, using his demonic flames. This earns him formal promotion as an immortal of the Chan sect, along with the elixir Reparo from the palace. Filled with rage, Nezha decides to join Wuyang in attacking the dragons to avenge his village. Before heading off, Nezha stops by Chintang Pass, where Tai helps rebuild Ao Bing's physical body in the sacred lotus. Ao Bing begs to first speak with his father, but Nezha refuses, consumed by vengeance. At the East Sea Palace, Wuyang and the demon hunters confront Ao Guang, accusing him of the Chintang massacre. Confused, Ao Guang demands answers from the other dragons, who reveal they were merely following Gongbao's orders. Wuyang then casts a spell to activate the Tianyuan cauldron, which begins to consume the palace. While the dragons try to maintain the suppression seal over the sea demons, Ao Guang steps away to confront William. Despite his immense strength and initial dominance, he's overwhelmed when Nezha enters the fray, believing Ao Guang is behind his parents' deaths. Ao Guang is ultimately overpowered and pushed back into the palace as the cauldron seals them in. In the heat of battle, Nezha is stunned when Taiyi and Ao Bing arrive with his parents alive. Overcome with emotion, he learns the truth. The dragons did not destroy the village. It was Wu Yong's scheme. Seeking to frame Ao Guang, Wu Yong attacked Qintang Pass himself. The dragons betrayed their king, siding with Wu Yong in exchange for freedom from centuries of imprisonment and promises of immortality. Gongbao had rescued Nezha's parents before the destruction. Devastated by the deaths of his own father and brother, Gongbao launched a solo attack against Wu Yong and the dragons. The supposed moral leader Wu Yong had all along been exploiting captured demons, not reforming them but transforming them into immortality pills in the cauldron, while justifying it with false accusations against others. Meanwhile, Ao Guang learns of the betrayal by his fellow dragons, who abandon him and the sea demons to their fate inside the cauldron. A massive showdown erupts as Ao Bing fights Wu Yong's disciples to save his father. He's soon joined by Nezha, their parents, and Tai. Though they manage to break through the ranks of Wu Yong's loyalists and the treacherous dragon leaders, they are ultimately defeated. Wu Yong had secretly placed a heart-piercing curse on both Nezha and Ao Bing during their initiation as immortals. The entire group is thrown into the Tunyuan cauldron. Inside, the divine fire of Samadhi begins converting them into immortality pills. Ao Guang tells everyone to concentrate their energy to delay the transformation, while the curse renders Nezha and Ao Bing immobile. Wu Yong offers to spare Nezha's parents in exchange for Nezha swallowing an oblivion pill that will end his life. As he's about to take it, Lady Yin grabs the pill from his mouth and throws it into the flames. Li Jing declares they would rather die than live with the knowledge that their son sacrificed himself for them. In a final act of love, Lady Yin hugs Nezha before perishing, her body turned into a pill. Grief-stricken, Nezha breaks through the cursed spikes, impaling him. Though his body is torn apart, the fire of Samadhi reforges him, unleashing Nezha's true form. Nezha wastes no time in freeing Ao Bing, and together, they attempt to lift the lid of the Tunyuan cauldron. Meanwhile, Wu Yong and the demon hunters move in to stop them. However, with the support of Ao Guang and the other demons who join forces, they succeed in shattering the cauldron and breaking free. Furious, Wu Yong commands the demon hunters to eliminate them all, sparking a final clash. The battle concludes with Nezha and Ao Bing overpowering Wu Yong, damaging his ageless spell, and exposing his real form, a frail, aged man. At the same time, Ao Guang unmasks Krana and Diro as demons in disguise. Wu Yong escapes with Ao Run's aid, and the remaining demon hunters withdraw. With victory in hand, Nezha and his forces celebrate their triumph over the gods. The movie then came to an end. Kindly subscribe for more movie recap like this. Thanks for watching and goodbye.